Okay, so seems like we're going in strong. We're heading into the eclipse strong. Like, now, the earthquake over on the East Coast has just really got them all going. And even in New York, it broke a water line, so they got flooding in the streets. And this one lady, she, it's so crazy because I have spoken to her before, and it was a whole conversation. I don't have to go into the whole thing, but she went towards aging and, you know, loving aging, loving your gray hair and stuff like that. And I went towards aging isn't real. So we went like two different directions. So we don't talk much about some stuff, but I see her videos, and she has gone in a direction that's like, it's like parallel to mine, because she's about the products, going to the doctor, all the things that I am like opposing now. We're on two different trajectories, but she keeps traveling around. I don't know what her job, I don't know if she has a job, I don't know if she's retired, she's in her 70s, but you know, I don't know if she goes around like an influencer or something. I'm not sure, but because she was in Costa Rica a couple weeks, and now she's in New York, and you know, she goes around, like a lot of people do this kind of stuff, go and try and build up a following out, I don't know, doing stuff like traveling and living. I don't know. I don't know, because I don't follow that stuff. But I had seen that she was in New York. That she had just she had some video. Oh, I'm in New York, and this is so exciting. We're gonna do shopping and whatever. I'll be here a couple weeks, and so, you know, setting up the whole New York trip. And then all of a sudden a video popped up, and she's like, oh my God, there's an earthquake. And she's in a high rise. I did say something too. I just couldn't help it. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything, but it was like, because I think it's like crazy. Like all the people that are just out traveling, like everything is just fine and dandy. Like that's just not my guidance. And because I was really thinking, because when I lived in Southern California, they always made like it was a big deal. Like everything was made structurally different in California for the earthquakes. Like they're made so that they can handle the earthquakes, supposedly. We'll see. But New York, like, I don't know why would they be making buildings for earthquakes. And so, and an earthquake doesn't just go by itself. And there's weird stuff like this is really shallow, the earthquake there has. So it could be, you know, something they're trying to set off. I'm not sure. I mean, like, I know the tectonic plates, and I know everything's shifting. It's so crazy too. I saw this little kid do this video, and he felt the earthquake or whatever, and he said, the earth's about to change. And his mom or teacher or whatever is like, oh, really? Why is that? And he's something like, because God's going to change it. And it's, it's going to change for the better. But the thing is then you have these other people who are like, I wonder if God's mad at New York. It's like they don't see. Like, it's not, it's like energetic pockets, for one thing. That's why there's certain places that are going to be hit really hard, because of the energetic pocket that's there. And so it's not like God doesn't find favor with these people, so he's going to punish them. That is the mind set of people who think that there's a God outside of them that is over them. It is like a way, like a consciousness of a dependency on it, like a jailer or something. Like they feel like there's something over them. And you know, like when I was a little kid, and you know, to go get the water to my brother, the soapy water, And that is what it's more like. It is, you have an internal battle between good and bad, weighing out, weighing and playing, and trying to get you to figure out where you lean to. And for me, I had, a team to talk me through it and help me with the decisions I made to have clarity and stuff. So, and I can't imagine that everybody doesn't have that. I think just most people tune it out. So, anyways, I didn't tune it out. But that is what it is, more of like a moral dilemma. You think about pockets, like I've talked about before, like these people use lures to draw people into containment areas, containment centers. They hung up pretty lights, they put in music, drew them in with smells and sounds and excitement and, possibilities. And, that back at the time, the people, were like mountain people, farmers, people from other places. There were people who wanted something more, something exciting. It seemed like, moving to the city was full of possibilities, but it was a lure in order to, pack a sardine can. I just saw, it's so crazy is because I had seen that girl talking about, she lived in, I don't think it was Kenya, it was someplace that she was talking about that she lived, and how cool it was to go down to in the town, in the shopping area, where everybody was be out. It was always colorful and friendly, and everybody's out talking, and just nobody's rushing around, everybody's just hanging out and stuff. And I can't remember. It doesn't seem like it's Kenyan. It seems like the place that I had seen the live was the place that she was talking about, not Kenya either. But I don't know why Kenya is stuck in my mind. But, and I can't see the other place that I was thinking of. But anyways, the buildings, like I saw this live and I was just like, I went into it. Usually I'll just see them for a second and just keep going. You have to click on them to go into the live where you see people talking. And I went into this one because I was so curious. Where in the hell is this? Because it would look like what we imagine, kind of like India, but it looked almost too clean for what we've been told about India, and things I've heard of, like from people who have traveled there and stuff. Like I've heard, I think it's in certain parts. I doubt it's every single part, but I've heard like, because it's so poverty contained, and like there is a whole poverty city inside of the city. Inside of this, it's like a tent city that developed into a city inside the city, and it is like, a homeless, poor, but they've developed a city inside the city. This city of, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's all poverty and stuff like that. But there's a lot of places where people just go to the bath. There's not plumbing and stuff, so there's a lot of excrement and stuff in the streets and in the waterways and stuff like that. And I have heard that, like, when you land and you get off the plane, that you can smell like it's like, it smells like sewage everywhere, because it's just like, and I know that there's places, I'm sure you have to watch where you're walking. I've been, like, I thought you had to, like, even when I was in Paris, like, oh, that was like 45 years ago. And I thought, man, you got to watch where you're going. There's a lot of places. I think in LA, you got to watch where you're going. In New York, there's a lot of places in this city. You got to watch where you're going. So, but they lured people in to jam pack them. Oh yeah, because on this one, it was like this narrow kind of street, like what, would look like kind of like an alley or something. And it was these tall buildings going up, but it was one, it looked like a prison system or something. It was one of these big white tall buildings next to the next one, next to the next one, next to the next one, all the way down this long, narrow alleyway looking thing that looks like the people down below are just walking across garbage everywhere. And all of the balconies on all of the windows have clothes hanging out of them. And there's lots of talking and stuff like that. I was just like, oh my gosh, how do they, like, even in Africa where there's all this land and stuff and they've got all these people piled up like this in these, I did not think it was like that at all in cities there. I thought people lived much different than that. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that. And it looks just like a prison, I swear. Just like you have outdoors in your prison. Like, I don't even know what the rest of the street's like, but it was crazy. And then it was so tall going up. Not like high rises. One like that. It was more like 20 stories or something. Just like such poverty. It's just like they keep everybody in such poverty. It's just like, fuck, man. And people here in America complaining about where they're at right now. It's like, you're still living above fucking people in other countries. And we're all sitting over here whining, oh my God, I just couldn't get my fast food fast enough. Oh my God, my Panera is so small now. Oh my God, have you seen the small fries? You just can't even get them anymore. It's like, oh my God. Oh, did you know a Blizzard, you get 2 Blizzards now, it's $16. God, can you believe it? Oh, well, I don't know. There's probably people who have never even tasted a fucking Blizzard. So I'm not surprised of anything. There's so much stuff, and that's what I mean. Like, the energy in America is like got a lot of shit to wake up to. There's in a lot of different places. A lot of places that were more developed when there was places that were so poverty stricken, you know, because we were all focused on ourselves. So anyway, there's a lot of that energy that it has to be, you know, out. And how do you get it out but make it seen? How do you make it seen? You bring it to the surface so everybody has to see it. That's why there's so much of this stuff, you know, coming up, is because that's how we release it. That's how we have to see it. Until then, we're just, you know, just walking around in the dark. So, anyways, like New York, though, has got a lot of super toxic energy. Super toxic. Fuck, man. Just watching that show, Deuce, like I've talked about so many times. If you haven't watched that show and you wonder about the corruption, like, God, watch that show. And, but there's been so much corruption for so long. There's been so much seediness. And when you have like a condensed amount of corruption, then it has more people go on and add to it, you know. So the corruption, the darkness gets bigger, and so there has to be these big shakeups to get people to, it's like, reevaluate themselves, to like I don't know, to look at things different, to see things, and not everything has to be said out loud. Like the important conversations that you're having are probably a lot more telepathic and internal. Like, you are having communication with your soul through your emotions and how you're looking at things and stuff like that. Even if you're not in communication where you're talking and receiving information back, you're still giving information. So, yeah, you know, people are still, it's like still waking up. Like, this transition and continues to occur, and people continue to wake up. And you are sending out like your signals of like, you know, I don't want that, I don't like that. And they'll send signals back, I think, over things you need to work on and fix and stuff. But there can be interference where you think like, you blame the wrong people, you look at things differently. You got to sit and be a lot more, still and think of introspection and reflection and look at things, especially as so much stuff is going on. Like there's so many things happening. And so it's important to, just be evaluating how you feel about things and what's going on around you. And I'm sure a lot of people have got to be feeling like a lot of fear, a lot of like, hopeless, especially because there's so many people pushing like, this is the end of the world. This is all these demons and all these, let's see, what is it? Demons or Jesus. And, oh yeah, and there's some other collider over here, over by New York or New Jersey before this earthquake stuff started. And there was all this lightning and stuff coming out of the building. Like they had cranked that one up too. So they're doing weird stuff. And, it's not like they're just doing this out of the blue. Like that's the thing. These alignments that are happening, like where people keep saying about the eclipse. And then people who, go in and look and see where the sun and the moon are and say, hey, the sun and the moon aren't even near each other. This isn't an eclipse. And then there's a lot of stuff going. Like there's stuff with this mothership. There's stuff with these comets. There's stuff with the sun. There's pictures with the sun where you can see, like a hole in the middle or something. I don't know if if it's like how they're shot, like who knows at this point. And it's like this is it's like the finale or something. But all the people who there's so many people who, like I've already said, that you would think they would be finding peace, but they are getting more and more scared and freaking out and stuff. And I think that is freaking out a lot of other people. And the thing is what I've learned is like when you have any kind of emotions and stuff, that the things going on are for you to work on your emotions. And that's the whole thing of why some of us woke up first and some of us didn't. It was because look at all of the issues that came up in people, and then look at their reaction. They blamed it all on the other people. It's your fault you're not waking up. It's your fault you're not waking up. And not going in and looking at themselves and seeing like, why am I having this reaction? What is this reaction? Do I have control over this? Do I have control over them? Do I have control over anything going on? What do I need to do to feel calm? What do I need to do to calm myself down? How do I find peace? Not, chasing after somebody, beating them over the head with an umbrella, telling them, listen to me, the sky's falling, I'm telling you. I tried that, didn't work. I'm telling you, I learned this stuff. So, and it is to find peace, your own place where you can understand and sit back. And then, and luckily to me, I have a spiritual understanding so that I can see, we're all equal. We all have the same right to wake up within the same. So they get their dramatic wake up too. And when I started really realizing the impact of being asleep through so much of this and waking up when this goes and finding yourself, one leg down the esophagus of the beast, the amount of pain and there's going to be so much emotion that is going to be released from people, so much that people are going to have to see, I can see, like in my own family, like it's just so crazy how, like, I am not seen at all for who I am. Like nobody can see me through the veil. And so once the veil is lifted, they'll see me, but then they'll feel like what was wrong with them that they couldn't see me. And so that's the process. So see everybody, and it's not just like because of me and them or something. No, this is life after life after life. This is big stuff that you came in to clean up. This is big stuff that you're clearing out for this. This is, stuff you've been carrying for, eons. So Don't get too caught up in the drama that occurs between, you and your brother, or you and your sister, or you and your mom, or whatever. And so much of our relationships was so programmed. Like, I have gotten totally onto this vein of these old family dramas, like old made for TV movies or something. And, oh my gosh, there was so much lessons, and there was so much of what they were trying to teach us when I was a kid. And it is so different than what they try and teach these kids. Like, it is so different. And when you watch these old movies and stuff, and you watch how they created the programming and the direction that they were leading us, and it's wild. And you see like these certain generations where it was so much like, I have seen a couple of these movies now where there was a mom, just like my mom, got pregnant as a teen because, it was too uncomfortable. You didn't talk about sex. You just had to assume that nobody was going to be doing it. Well, there's people out there who are going to be doing it, and they're going to take advantage of the people who don't know what the fuck is going on. And so that happened a lot, apparently, and a lot of girls ended up pregnant, and a lot of girls got blamed, just like, with these 70s rockers guys. For all the time, they always blame the girls, the groupies. Oh, look at these groupies. Well, why are these guys sleeping with these teenage girls? Like, don't you think should we be saying something about them? They're grown-ass men. So, but, it's always been, the rest has always been laid on the victim. Like, that is what we're breaking free from, and that's why we got to play our part. Stop, making somebody else's like, well, you're the bad guy. It's like, we got to get out of this kind of way of thinking. Yeah, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. I'm a good guy. You're a bad guy. It's like, no, we got to start being more, just seeing that everybody is here playing out this balancing. It's a balancing act to find yourself. You're walking a trapeze of life, trying to find yourself so you don't fall off one side or the other. A lot of people have fallen off, and they're just trying to climb back up, and they're going to feel so bad about themselves. Like, the people who have fallen off and went dark, they have got so much forgiveness to do to themselves. I was watching some of the movies, and so these girls that would get pregnant, they would have their family like turn on them. Oh my God, the amount of sluts shaming and name calling, and oh my God, physical violence on these young girls for getting pregnant. It was so shameful. Like, I think in some countries they would still put you to death. It's like, you've brought shame upon your family. And it is like, you see these things that we got to break free from. But then it's like there was like these different animosities that would be developed in the different characters and the resentments. And then, as one is like that daughter who has been abused grows up, and then her perspective, and it is, you can see how it goes through generation after generation, and how it is that we have to stop it, and how there is so much of this. This is something else I keep seeing, and I've talked about it before. Like, if you had a hard ass mom who was just like, she, taught you to be strong. That's a positive right there. It'd be hard to be a weak ass bitch having a really tough mom. And, but so many of with the tough moms, it is like, I don't know if it is like this, it's like they're punishing themselves through you. Like, they're blaming you for things they did, and then trying to stop you from being you and living your life because of stuff they did. Like, they can't get past their own trauma to see you as an individual, or your experiences, individual experiences. So there's so much complication in how we view ourselves in these familial relationships. And, it's going to be a lot better when everybody kind of gets onto this groove of healing and being able to claim their part that they played. But that is the part that we got to go through, see? And that is why all these things are happening. That is why they're happening. Not because God's mad, not because Jesus is coming. It's because this is a time of advancement. This is a time of reflection. This is a time of change. It's a time of an ending and a beginning. And so you have to go through your process of releasing, these parts of yourself that you developed, because, they're artificial. I'll tell you another thing that is so freaking weird. I'm so glad Amy noticed. I don't know if she's noticed as much as me, but but she has definitely seen like people who don't normally use filters now all of a sudden they're putting on filters and stuff. Guys, I saw this one guy who was being well, I'm a photographer and I edit and all this stuff. And really, you just use filters. If you want to use filters, just all the power to you. I use filters. And, so if I'm not going to have that blemish show and stuff like that. It's like, dude, it does more than change your blemishes. I still cannot even get over how many girls are going to put on this ginger filter, and the ginger filter comes across and all of a sudden it's like, oh, and they see something that they've never seen before. Some girls like, oh my gosh, I look so different with red hair. You look so different because it's not your face. What is wrong with people? How in the hell, just like this guy, all these different people, they are not just putting on something over your face and covering up a blemish. They are wiping everything off of all identifiers and then tweaking every bit of your features to perfect them. Because, you're going to be artificial, you better be perfect. So it's going to do a more, like if your eyes have a slight tilt this way and they would see it as more attractive to go this way, then it's going to turn them up. It's got like a template. It's going to put over to turn your face into this more presentable face. So, and they all buy onto it. They all just seem to just like it's mesmerized them. It's intoxicated them. They're under the spell of the filter or something. And then this guy to push it, and then who was I was saying, because I said, I think it was Amy, but I had told this to my kids when the filters first started, and they were using them, and they had little kids, and this was when it was like old things, like I was like back MySpace, like Facebook just getting started, and Instagram and stuff like that. They probably still put pictures of them and their kids and stuff online, but they would be doing all these like filters. It was all silly ones back then, like dog noses and fairy thing, like all silly little things. But it would still make you look real perfect. And I just said stuff about the filters all the time, but it's like, how are you ever going to remember what you look like or what your kids look like if it's always under these weird filters? I don't think anybody really listened to me too much, but that energy started being more people started talking like that. More people started saying, like, I think there was one woman who said she was looking for some pictures and she couldn't find any pictures of her and her daughter. If something had happened to her daughter or something, but anyway, she couldn't find any pictures that weren't with these silly little dog noses and stuff. And it's like it became like an addiction. But anyways, I don't think my kids do that so much now. I don't know. Maybe they put on all that because I'm not on. I don't even know what they're on, and I'm not into that like family. Social media kind of thing. I did that back Facebook way back, and then I think even on Instagram, and it was like, I don't know. But anyways, if I wanted to go on Instagram though, I would have to go sign in and go on, and then I could go in and look at all like what everybody's doing and see what everybody's doing. But so I don't know. Maybe they're all addicted to fucking filters. I don't fucking know. But the amount of people who are just like, it's like taken over. It's like taking over their minds or something. And the way they look at themselves and think that is them. It's like, that is not you. This is the weirdest thing. It's like, I don't understand if people are really like mental, if they really can't see. Can you not see the difference in your face and the filter? Like, I can, even if it's like subtle things, I can still see. Like, it makes things more perfect. It fixes you. Um, so, you know, like this one lady, and she was being harassed because she what and see, that's why I think this guy did this other fucking video, because there's people who are using filters are getting harassed because the people who see it as fake and phony see it like, you know, like how I'm saying, like, this is so strange, and these other people, they just keep acting like this is normal. And so the let me think what I was gonna say, because oh yeah, because she was getting picked on. People were saying stuff, and so she went on and she did one without any filter, and then now she's back on the filter. I think every video I've seen since, she's been back on the filter. But it's so weird because she's one that will say like, "Oh, it just does your makeup." It's like, dude, it does not. It takes these big freaking, this big giant eye makeup thing. And so if you've got like your eyes droopy, or you've got a lot of wrinkles there, or any of the stuff, anything, then it goes and it slaps that on there. So all of a sudden that's gone. Well, how in the hell are you going to do that with just makeup? You would have to have an eye lift. It covers up things like that. So then the people are like, oh, see, I look so much better. It's like, that is not, it is artificial. You've got to go, if there's something about your face you don't like if you think your eyes are too droopy, that there's like that face yoga stuff where you can do these muscles to strengthen your eye muscles. And then plus there's a lot of like places of like lymph and tension that you can release. And so that is where you have to go in and you have to care for yourself. Just slapping on a freaking filter and being like, oh, I look better now. It's like, what are you trying to hide from? And it is because it's what you're trying to hide from is that what you need to go in and look at and see. And it was something like with because there's no freaking way that these filters are doing like a full-on facelift on people. It's totally changing their faces. And then fine, if you want to go and change it, you know, if you want to go out and put your face on online everywhere as a filter, and then you're comfortable with going out and seeing people in person when you look different, then fine, that's your, everybody has their own lessons. It just is so strange how it is like they all seem to think that that's what they really look like. Like, that are they just convincing themselves, or do they really think this? I don't know. It's their lessons. It's just the strangest thing to watch. Like, there's so, oh my God, and the amount, it just cranks up the amount of horrific crimes that are happening with people and families, and the crazy wrecks. Oh my God, the crazy wrecks and people just getting out and walking out of them. I told you that there was going to be some crazy ass wrecks where it's like, no way would somebody be able to get out of that. And people are just walking out of them. They're not even having to be life flighted out of them. They're just walking out of these. One was a crane. I think it was in New York. It was probably right around the time of the earthquake or something. I think it was this morning that I saw it. And a crane busted and came falling down and fell on two cars and didn't barely hit one back here, but it was like this one was a Tesla back here. This other one, I don't know what it was, but it crushed it. And the lady just got out and walked. Like, there's I say that stuff is to kind of get people to see like death, and the whole thing is like what we think. And it's it isn't like, oh, you got to be careful because if that happens, you'll die. Oh, if you do that, you may die. No, it's like you're going to die when you're supposed to die, and you're not going to die until then. So, and craziest shit can happen. Like, you can fucking, I mean, there's been ladies, I think there's been more than one person who's fallen out of the fucking sky. The one lady, her story was so crazy. Oh my gosh, she was up there, as some kind of storm came, and she was with a parachute whole group of people, and then some storm came and she got sucked. And the worst thing you can do, I guess, is get sucked above the storm. and somehow she got sucked by the storm, which then she was in too high of a elevation, and it knocked her out. And so she was in a storm, knocked out, getting thrown around or something. Then she got thrown down through the storm and thrown down where she was flying down to the earth. Like, you'd have to hear her whole story. I think I heard it on Mr. Ballin, one of his episodes. And then she hit into the ground and she lived. Like, there's so many crazy stories. The one guy he went into the whale, he went into like all 3 different times that where you'd think, oh, he's for sure be dead. Nope. Every time, some fucking miracle. There is, because you can't die unless it's meant to be that you're going to die. And that is like a part of the awakening. It's a part of the seeing the truth. And so to me, that stands out because it's something that everybody needs to see. Is like, it's not just like we're all running from death and we're all running from, the possibility we could be killed today. It's not how it is. And, and it's a big thing too, is, to me, like, I know I'm going further in this. So even when, I see these videos, well, like even Siri or Alexa or somebody is saying, we're all going to die. We're all about to die. And I see the future, though. So I see the future of where we're going. And it's great. It's going to be really good. And I don't know if that is what they're just trying to... I know a part of the awakening, though, is like, how can anything be good unless you appreciate it? So a part of the awakening is learning appreciation. And that's a powerful lesson. Everything's so loud. I think that is somebody just starting their car. It's seriously so loud. Ugh, man, I'm going to be so glad when they shit. And then I just saw this other video. It said, well, they're about to, some earthquake guy said all these earthquakes, he said they're going to be way worse next week. And he said the ones are going to move down south on the East Coast, and they're going to be down by the Carolinas. And then over here, it's going to be over by the Cascades, so mine, and in California, and that it will be, or maybe I'm getting the Cascade one mixed up with a different guy. Because maybe the one guy, he was just saying the East Coast off of the ocean, there's going to be a whole bunch. This other guy, he was saying there's going to be a whole bunch of earthquakes that are going to be starting. The Cascadia thing is going to be hit so hard. That's the one that and I just got to trust, because I know that I see this other future. So I got to just trust, I'm going to be out of here when it goes down. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go down. I don't know what's going to be left. I don't know, like, fuck. Maybe I'm going to be here when it goes. Fuck, I don't know. I know that I'm going to go forward, though, because I can see it. And so it's, and, you've got these big cities that are on, supposed to be on watch, stay out of them. And I've got to go on this one. And it's in a couple of weeks. Oh, my God. I'm on the countdown now. It's like 3 days until one payment, then in an appointment. But I've got all phone appointments. So phone appointment, and then a couple days later, another phone appointment. A couple days later, make payment. And then a couple days later, the surgery. So it's like I've got these little increments of couple days, couple days, couple days, couple days. And so it's getting closer, it's really coming close. And, I mean, if they're going to be there, I'm going in and get that surgery in that morning and hope for the best and hope I'm not there. Because, like, when that lady going over there to New York, and then for there to be an earthquake, I was like, ugh, the timing for you to go to, because earthquakes, like, I don't know what's going on, like, if it's something else, but they come in multiples. They don't just like one earthquake and that's it, no, they'll have like Sometimes they'll have like a warm up, and then there'll be a big one, and then there'll be aftershocks. It all depends. But usually there can be a lot that you don't feel or something. But in some of these big buildings, I don't know. I was like, fuck, if they had a big earthquake there and those buildings started falling, like if they started swaying, and they're so tall, they built so high up. And in Japan, they just had the tsunami, like all these different places are having all this stuff. Like, but I would think in China, over there, I think that they are used to having earthquakes, like that they would do their buildings to be built on it. I don't know if New York did that because they didn't have them, just like people in Kansas, I mean, people over here, we don't get set up for tornadoes. Like everybody gets kind of more with whatever storms you have. And everywhere where I've even noticed that I've moved to different places, people's houses are made out of different things. And before I had questioned that. And it was like, especially when I got to California, and I was like, what the hell is this? Because I had seen houses made out of wood and seen houses made out of brick, but I had not seen houses made out of stucco. And so then I was like, what in the hell is this stuff? And they're like, oh, it's stucco. It's better for, the earthquakes or whatever their problems are with their weather there. Seems like it was like mostly with earthquakes, and maybe it was something with water or something. I don't remember. I was like 20 years old. And, but, and then up here, we have kind of like a mix in Washington. There was like a lot of siding houses, but then there was some brick ones. And then there's like, I've seen other things like stone and different stuff like that. But definitely in Texas, it was like brick houses everywhere. In the Midwest, it was like so many were wood houses, like siding and stuff. And then California, it was stucco. And so, and then also in like in the Midwest, they have basements. It's so wild too. Even in Texas, we didn't have basements. I thought that was so strange because when we moved to Texas, when we were in Kansas, and we had basements, and when there was tornadoes, we'd go down in the basement. And then when we moved to Texas, and there was still tornadoes, and I'd be like, "Where's the basement? Like, where are we supposed to go?" Like that freaked me the fuck out. I was like, "What the hell? Why don't we have a basement if they got tornadoes?" So anyways, it's supposed to be like that you were, have whatever your storms are. I don't even know what the storms are in New York, if they even have that kind of stuff, tornadoes or hurricanes or any of that stuff. So I don't know. So anyways, it's curious. I thought that they would come in and hit them with some kind of water thing, which I was like, man, then when the water main busted, and I was like, geez, if they can fill up the streets this way. But I don't know. Whatever, all be chaos. And you can see, all they got to do is just hit with another earthquake here, because it was in like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, like a whole bunch of places all up in that area. And so anyways, but it isn't because God is sitting there going, God, I don't like those people. That guy over there really caused problems, so I'm just going to go ahead and fuck up New York. No, it's because it's the energy. The energy is unsettled because the energy is changing on the planet. So there's an energetic battle. There's an energetic shifting. And everything is going to shift around. And definitely the landscape is going to be shifting. It's going to be changing. And I mean, that just goes with the territory. It's what the earth has done. That is something I think that we can all agree on, even with the lies throughout the history, that things keep shifting, land masses and territories and how people live and stuff. And that is what we are in right now, is this shift. And so, but we're going to get this opportunity to shift into really good stuff. That's the cool thing too, is that we get to shift into like higher technology and this huge advancement. Like this is going to take us to a whole new level. And But anyways, but that is what the whole thing is about, is it's to help us, not to punish us. And the thing is like the people think like that, like God punishing you and having ill will towards you or whatever. And people like so many people are like, you know, like they've got to go and what is it? Like you've got all these people like praying all night, reading the Bible. They're like, let's read the Bible. Like they're still going on it. And so that kind of like I don't want God to be mad at me. I'm going to make sure I'm in God's favor and stuff like that. But they just don't realize it's going to be you that you're going to be staring at. God is not going to be sitting there staring at you and going like, ah, damn, you didn't do enough. No, it's going to be you. It's going to be you staring at yourself, questioning, like, why was I trying to, why was I trying to please some God? Why wouldn't I think I was good enough? Why would I think I wouldn't be in God's favor? Why would I, like, there's so many things that people have to come to terms with. But the thing is like God being mad, like your mom or dad being mad is like a vague thing out in the living room. You hating yourself in your room where all you have is yourself, that's where you have to pull yourself free. You have to talk yourself down. You have to pull yourself off the ledge and, sing to you or something. You got to get your shit together. So you have to, accept yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. Like, God's not going to come and say, it's okay, child. It's okay you did that. No, you got to find that forgiveness in you. That is so much harder. Like, people are going to wish that Jesus would come down and say, it's all okay. You're going to be like, God, please, Jesus, just come and tell me it's all okay. But see, that God is inside of you. And it's not the side of you that's judging you. It's the side of you that wants you to forgive yourself. That's the God inside of you. That's the other part, the ego and stuff, that it just keep running you through it. And you should have been smarter. You should have done this different. If you just would have done that. Well, if you just would have, you had different parents. If you just would have had, like you go through whatever you need to go through. But you got to get to the point of being able to forgive yourself. And there's going to be so much of that. Let's like watch and see how much. Because it's even people who think they're awake. I mean, even people who like go around like, like there's a t-shirt now. Well, I don't remember what it is. I'm that and pay my taxes or something. And it's like, dude, seriously, there is not that many people who have never had any of those. Most of us have all had some of those things. So to keep acting like that you're above other people because you saw through it on the last one, it just is like, that is a part of you that you're going to have to see. And there's going to be parts that are going to, it's going to be like not like a punishment, but you're going to see the other side. You're going to see the side that you wished you hadn't seen, that's going to hurt. That's where you're going to feel the pain, where you're going to be like, oh my God. There's going to be things, and that's the thing about how lessons are shown. They're shown on this other side to where you have to see something that it hurts. It hurts. There's like that, think about all the things that really get you to feel. It's great when we can get things that are joyful, and happy, but this is a time to have gratitude and be grateful for everything that you can have, that you can find joy in. But this is a time of, facing the darkness. I think that these people are artificial, who are just like, focus on the love and the light, focus on the love and the light. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of dark shit. And like, you got dark shit inside of you that you need to attach to that and let it go. It's like, put your darkness into that thing and send it on its way. Don't keep your darkness in you, because you're ignoring the fairy going by that's taking it, you know. Get rid of it. Throw it on the trash heap and let it go. But you got to, you know, clean out the closet to find out, you know, what you can get rid of and what you need to keep. And there's just so many people who are focused on a lot of different stuff. They're focused on all things that scare them, all these bad things, or all these horrible things that are going to happen or could happen. And that's where you got to see, like, there's going to be things that we consider to be horrible. There's going to be things that we consider to be bad that are going to happen. That doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It means that it's the end of an era, a time of change. And the, you know, ending is going to be dramatic. And, oh, I'll tell you another thing that seems like good news, too. And so I know there's something about the XRP, the Stella, or Stellar, I think it's Stellar, like Stella with the R on the end. And then Ripple. So XRP, Ripple, and Stellar is stuff that I've heard about with the quantum thing. And some guy was showing that there's banks that are getting this new emblem put on to the side of their banks that is the Ripple emblem. So that is another, to me, good sign about the quantum. Like, so there's things that are going on. There's things that are happening. There's things that are going to be good and positive for us. But there has to be this big awakening, this big, and it's going to purge out a lot of dark energy. It's going to, like, there's going to be, you know, like an exit for a lot of dark energy that's going to be leaving. So, and we have to have a lot of dark energy that's going to go. There's going to be these purges out of this dark energy. And, but then there's going to be so much each person has to purge out. Oh, yeah, and I want to say, this was so exciting. Okay, so let's just go over this for a second on Stella. Okay, so a couple years ago, she had what appeared to be a stroke. And like her whole face drooped, like this whole side drooped. And she couldn't get up. It was horrible. And my neighbor came over. Then my daughter drove into town to help me. And the neighbor was helping me, like, pick her up to get her outside to go to the bathroom. I was like, didn't even know what the fuck to do. And then my daughter came, and she, Stella just always listens to her more. Like, she'll be like, Stella, get up and go. Stella, come on. You're going to do, come on, you can do this. And, you know, I'm just doing it. So it's just like, roll, Mom, please, you know. But to somebody who she thinks of as her sister, she pushes herself a little more. So it was good that she was getting her to listen more and getting her to do more. So that was helpful. But then I had to get that whole thing set up, and I took her down to Southern California. We did a whole road trip, and it was horrible because she couldn't get in and out of the car, and she fell out of the car a couple times trying to get out. And I felt so horrible trying to get her back in. She was so dizzy, and I had taken her to the vet, and they said that he was sure it was an inner ear infection, but the inner ear infections were supposed to be gone because I knew of somebody else who got one. I bet you there was a whole bunch of them, and it was probably something they sprayed on people. But it should have been gone real quick. It was like 2 to 4 weeks, and her thing lasted like, fuck, I swear to God, the drooping. I think there was still people like a year later saying about our droop. She doesn't have any droop now, but I've done so much stuff with the detoxing and so much with like herbal remedies. Like they had her because she has got the hip dysplasia and the arthritis since she was like, it's a birth thing because of crappy breeders. And so she had, and then they want her on all this meds and stuff like that. And she's in horrible pain and all that stuff. And, it's this miserable thing. And but every time when I would put the medicine in her dish, she could smell it. She wouldn't eat it. And then at one point she just refused. she wouldn't take any of the medicine. She got like really sicker. And so I was like, fuck this. I'm taking her off the meds. It was making me too nervous anyways. I was like, I got to just really focus on, and I've been lucky with people telling me things like turkey tail, try this. Like I've had a lot of people tell me different things. And so I've tried a lot of different things. Turkey tail, I'm going to keep her doing the turkey tail. She's been on that for a while. The tamoxil or whatever, the skin stuff, I'm going to keep it on that because that has been such an improvement on her skin, her nose, everything. And then she's been doing the goat, we'll just call it paste, even though it's a liquid, but it's the same kind of thing as like the horse paste, only it's for goats. And my mom is doing it for her cat who keeps getting this cancer. And so she has all these friends that are into like rescue animals and stuff like that. And so they were looking up, and they had found that something with the goat stuff was going to, if it does more for the skin or this certain kind of thing for cancer or whatever. And so I started her on that. We haven't finished the first bottle. And like I said, like the horse paste is like $10 for a tube. But really, like you only get like 10 doses out of that. The goat one is like a liquid. And God, she's got to have been on it more than 10 days by now. I would think maybe 15 days. I'd have to go look it up and see when we got it. But, and then I got the red light. And, the boron. She gets the boron. And so to help with the arthritis, I thought there was an improvement after that. I saw improvement after the turkey tail, improvement over the tamoxil. And so she had this one big growth. It's about this. It was like about this big. And I had been watching that. That's the one. And I even wanted to just like poke it with a needle or something. I was like, God, if I could just drain it, because it was hanging off. And those things like are where people are like, oh, you got cancer, see? So I was like, God, I gotta get rid of this thing. And so she's been on that horse paste stuff. Then I had done the Epsom salt soak. And that is really good, like for these cysts and stuff. And so I'd done that a few times. It wasn't getting anywhere. And I'd tried to poke it with a needle. It was like, oh my God, it was like leather. Like, well, I couldn't get through there. I'd have to really, I was like, so I had thrown away that idea. And, but even yesterday when we were out walking, I was looking at it and was like, oh my God, that freaking thing has grown like a little companion. It's like grown, and then it grew a little companion part. And so it's like, got bigger, and it's dangling off her leg. And I'm like, damn it, I've got to, okay, I'm just going to soak this every day until this thing is gone. And because I start playing out different things in my head, and then I'm remembering like, oh yeah, this girl had called me and her dog had one, and I had told her to soak it with Epsom salt because it was going to be a couple $1,000s for the surgery, because that's what they told me to. She has a Mastiff. And so I told her, and the Epsom salt worked on hers. But I had done the Epsom salt a few times and hadn't had any success. So anyways, I did it yesterday. I was like determined, okay, we're just going to really go at this. So soaked it. We went to bed, and then whatever, in our midnight time that we get up. And so I was up, and she came over and was laying by me, and I was rubbing her, and I was like, oh my gosh, her leg is wet. And so I turned on the lights, and I felt, and that thing had opened itself up and the stuff was coming. So I got a thing and started pushing the stuff up. All her other ones the stuff that had come out was like old blood, like old congealed brown blood, like, like an old period or something, like the old blood. And it hadn't had any like rotten smell or anything. I haven't had any of them have any rotten smell. But then this one, it opened, and everything that was coming out of it was like this gray, like kind of not congealed. It is almost like, looks like powdery almost, like dried up It's weird. It was not at all what I was thinking was going to come out of it. But that is white blood cells. So white blood cells is like the white in the pus and stuff. That's when all the white blood cells go to try and attack an infection. And so that is where it creates all this pus and stuff that comes out. Hers seemed like it had gone past that, where I was like, oh, I wonder if that stuff was working on the inside, killing whatever parasite was in there. And then I don't know. I just feel like, hallelujah. I just am so excited. I can't even believe it. And so I've pushed a few times to make sure to keep really draining out this little sac to make sure it doesn't refill. And it seems like it's shrinking. And so I'm hoping it just goes right back in. So, fuck, I'm telling you, even when she started on the horse paste, I saw such a huge improvement. I think that's when her nose improved. And I was thinking, Jesus Christ, just think how, like, what dogs are really fighting. They'll sit there and they'll tell us, like, oh, if they're licking their paws all the time, they were probably overrun with parasites. They're so overrun with parasites. Like, I mean, she has been on, that is like a lot of treatments where she's had like a few days off, and just the improvement on her health, in her coat, and everything is just, it's phenomenal. And so, yeah, any of the things that you're having with your animals, I swear to God, do some cleanses. And I see person after person, and I still have gone in and commented, I mean, it's person after person. Oh, I'm got autoimmune. I've got this, I've got that. I'm dying. I'm this, all this stuff. Constantly telling people, you've got to go and detox and cleanse. The parasite cleanses are so valuable to get all this stuff that's feeding off of you out of you, and then to detox the chemicals that are draining you of your stuff. Oh yeah, and the GR stuff. People are going and testing their pills. So ibuprofen, and so if you're taking ibuprofen, the lady who had done this test, it was I think there was gel caps or something that had the little emblem on the side. The pill was in black. So she put it in the thing and then used the magnet, and yeah, black is the stuff. So if you take that all the time, you probably do have a lot of that in you. And I would still try and cleanse all that stuff. I would do all the cleanses I could. And, because even cleaning out and all your blood, everything, I would just be cleansing, especially because they're making this whole big thing of whatever they're going to do is going to affect people who have a lot of metal and a lot of toxins inside of them, and they haven't. And it could just be a huge scare, like maybe those people will all fall down and, they won't be able to get up for a minute, and it will scare the shit out of them. I'll be like, that's because something inside my body just did that without me even being in control. Like, that would be fucking supreme. Just something like that. Something simple. Something so that they just get a scare. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. But that's what it's for, is to just get people to get into a different state of mind. The state of mind that the universe wants you in is one that is more productive towards your own life, your own success, your own connection, going towards the things that you really want, the things that you enjoy, finding places where you can have unity and community and build yourself up. So anyways, that's what we're going into. We're going towards. So no matter what all these different people are seeing and feeling, it's like, and I don't know what all their stuff is, like what their storylines are, or what they have to go through, or what they're here working on. And, oh yeah, and the J-Lo stuff, she just gets, like, it's so wild. I don't even know, like, how many of these takedowns of these people's characters. Let's just, like, destroy these fake-ass people's characters. But so apparently somebody else does Jennifer Lopez's singing for her even. She's come out now, and she's the one who's saying Jenny on the Block. It's not even fucking J-Lo. So it's like, she's Milli Vanilli. She's Milli Vanilli. Like, oh my gosh. And then I don't know. She may be on a Naomi Campbell level. Chelsea Handler, I think she's like, even the name, like, they've got just these certain women who are out there to I don't know, to, God, if they're just there to tell other girls or women, like, oh yeah, go do that. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, do a fake support system. Like Oprah was out there being supportive. And you know what's really trippy is if you see the Oprah that's out there now and you look at the old pictures of Oprah, it's not even the same colored person. Totally different colored person. Like, if you're gonna get lookalikes and clones and shit, you may want to at least try and keep them in the same range of color. Like, that's weird. So, anyways, that is, but I think, all that stuff is for us to begin to see. It's part of, like, it's not supposed to be so, it's supposed to be easier to spot. So when you start waking up, you're like, dang, how'd they get that one past us? Oh yeah, now The Rock, he's going against Joe. Like, oh God, I can't believe, I'm sorry I ever voted for him. Like, there's gonna be so much of this, I guess, is like the legacy takedown on Joe. Everybody's going to throw him under the bus, and then somebody's going to just drive right over him, because it's the end of him. I mean, he's already gone. Like, whoever all these guys are that are playing him, they're not going to stay playing him forever. Like, there's going to be some kind of dramatic end. It would be funny if they did the Scooby-Doo ending and everybody starts taking off the masks, but I don't know. That may just fry people's brains. It may be too much. I don't know. So I don't know how they're going to play it out. They're going to play it out in the way that they think that, because if the quantum computers are telling them, do this, do that, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, there was another one too, another Q-post. This is the stuff that got me off of that. That's where it got me hooked, man. It was the RBG stuff really got me hooked on that. It was like, how in the fuck could they know this date years in advance? How could they say this is going to happen on this date and then it happens on that date unless there's something else going on? Don't fucking tell me that's fake. And so the predictions were a few years back, predicted the exact date of the stuff that just happened. And it wasn't Chile. It was, I think, that earthquake and the tsunami. It was something. And it said it right in the post. The day that was when it was going to happen, and then there it does 3 years later, exactly when it says it's going to happen, there it is. Like, that is Looking Glass. I said it the whole fucking time. I was always in those lives in conversations and stuff. I was always saying, is Looking Glass. That's how they know. It's they've got a Looking Glass. A lot of people, like in some of the groups I would talk to, like, they know what Looking Glass is. There's so many people that you go tell stuff like that and they're like, think that's so weird. But like, we're all wacky. It's like, just start paying attention, then you tell me. You tell me how you think it goes. How did this happen? How did that happen? And so, anyways, no shame on the people who are asleep. There was a reason that they had to go through the experience, and it has a part of whatever it is that they're supposed to wake up to and heal. It all goes together. So, that's where we got to learn to be kind and be respectful. Like, that they've got their own universal flight plan. We are not the ones that need to come in and interrupt their flight plan. We're not supposed to be going in between the controller and the radio controller and the person who's in flight. We're supposed to watch them, see how they do with that landing. If they don't do so good, well, let's see how they do with the next one. And that's where we got to just get a lot more kinder to each other, a lot more appreciative of what we're doing here. And, the more that we can be kinder to other people, the more we can be kinder to ourselves. Because that's the hugest problem, is people are so down on themselves. They hate themselves. They're mean to themselves. They don't cut themselves any slack. They have too much expectation on themselves. And then when you watch these old movies, and you can see where it came from. It was like there's so much pressure, but it wasn't just our parents. It was the programs. It was a part of the lessons. It was a part of the stuff we were supposed to learn and grow. All this all goes together. It's not, nothing is by accident. Everything is designed for you to become your best self. It's not designed for you to fail. But the thing is when you feel like that you are fighting against the system, then you feel like it is pushing you to fail because you are fighting against it. When you get into the flow with the universe, then you see, oh, it's here for me. It's trying to make things better for me. It's trying to, make this a fun thing. Make this a fun ride, So, but you got to get into that groove. You got to get out of the poor me. God, life sucks. My parents suck. My ex-husband sucks. My kids suck. My family sucks. Because then life's going to suck. That's all you think about is everybody sucks and everything sucks. Then that's where you're putting your energy. That's where you're focused. That's what you're looking at. You're just looking at the sucky shit. Just like, bug, that sucks. Yeah, bug. Yeah, it does suck. Yeah, we see it. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Pretty soon, like, everybody's probably sick of it. Like, well, we got our own shit to worry about. We can't just sit here and focus on your stuff, but you can sit here and whine all day long if you want. He's like, you got to know when to release it, when to, like, cut it off, to be like, okay, I've given this enough time. Now it's time for me to heal it. Now it's time for me to take responsibility. Now it's time for me to look at things differently. And that's where you can really make change. That's when you can get into your groove. That's when you get your groove back on, is when you start taking responsibility for yourself and you start going towards what it is you want, the dreams that you have. And I'm not talking about the dreams that someone else has. That's a big problem in our society, is so many people think chasing somebody else's dream. I can't even tell you, like, this trips me out still, and I've said this before, is like I'll have these tarot reading things pop up all the time on my feed, and it will be people who I've never seen before or anything, and they'll pop up and they'll start telling me something that is so accurate to my life. And so I'll sit and listen, and it will be telling me so accurate of things, like it's trippy. And I will go in, I swear to God, and it will be, there could be 25, 100 comments claiming it. I'm claiming it. I'm claiming this. It's like, don't you need to go and live it? Like, how do you claim something that you're not living? That's as weird as this fucking filter thing. Like, that's why I keep saying, like, I don't understand people's states of consciousness. I don't understand how people think. I don't understand how they perceive. All I can say is I think that there is about to be this great equalizer. It's going to get us all, like, on the same table. Like, we may not all be on the same vibration, but we're all going to at least see the same table. It's wacky. I don't understand how people, like, it was so weird. And I know that there is a whole love and light thing, claim this. If you want this, claim it. It's like, you guys, you don't just claim stuff. That is just like take someone else's life. No, you work towards what it is you're guided. That is your purpose. There's something in you. There's a drive and a desire. You get on that, and there's going to be obstacles in your way. There's going to be times when you're like, geez, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? What am I, and everything is for you to take time and reflection, to go in and work through it. Not just turn and run and hide. And no, this is a process. You're in a process of growth. You're in a process of alignment. You're in a process of expansion. This is a great opportunity. And, it seems like right now that so many people are missing out on this opportunity, but there will be this great equalizer. There will be a time where it is like everybody sees the significance and sees the importance and takes the responsibility for themselves to make the changes in their life that they want, and stop sitting back and thinking, that you can just claim it. Just claim it. Just sit here. Don't do anything. Don't heal anything. Jesus has got you. The love and light's got, like, somebody's going to take care of it for you. No. Dark, dirty facts. You got to clean up your own mess. That's the universal balance. That's the way it goes. Whatever you've got going is your responsibility. So you have to. But you've got assistance. You got help. You're not just totally on your own. You've got guides that are sitting there waiting. You know, they are eagerly ready to help you. And it is, you know, however distant you have found yourself is where you're going to have to work on that communication. You're going to have to fix it. You're going to have to try and develop it. You know, it's up to you. Everything that you want is up to you. You want something good, it's up to you to go and find it. Quit focusing on the negative and focus on the possibilities, the excitement of the possibilities. And while you're doing it, you got to remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.